back to part 2 of Smart Guys for this week, November 20th, 2010, although like I said, it might not come out till Sunday this week.
Thanksgiving edition.
Well, no, next week we'll be covering, well...
Should have worn a pilgrim in an Indian outfit.
Yes.
And had a cornucopia.
Excellent. So we're going to talk about SmackDown now for the November 19th edition. The show opens up with Alberto Del Rio and Mysterio being announced, Rey Mysterio being announced as the Survivor Series team captains. And as we just mentioned, this hadn't been mentioned until it was teased on Monday on the special 3-hour Raw. Now it's apparently becoming rock solid 2 days before the pay-per-view. So the teams are Del Rio, Tyler Rex, who, by the way, has only been in 2 other matches.
Apparently he's friends with Del Rio.
Apparently, because he's on the same team twice.
Connection.
Cody Rhodes, Jack Swagger, and Drew McIntyre. And that's weird because Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre now hate each other according to the plot lines, but they're on the team. So, shades of what happened with Mysterio and Del Rio at Bragging Rights.
Yeah.
And then Rey Mysterio's team is The Big Show, Kofi Kingston, MVP, and Chris Masters, who I guess is now officially a face that they're going to start pushing
the masterpiece.
SmackDown. So that's interesting. So Del Rio comes out, does a promo. Oh, I destroyed Sergeant Slaughter on Monday. I'm a living legend. And MVP basically comes out and says, no, you should respect your legend. It's kind of a redo of what happened on Monday. Del Rio said, well, I'm already a legend. I'd love to wrestle you tonight, but guess what? I have a rematch against Rey Mysterio. And everyone's like, wow, this is going to be like the rubber match finally. Because if you remember, when Del Rio debuted, he beat Rey.
Right.
Then he put him out of action for a couple of weeks.
Rey
Then Rey came back and beat him. So this would be like, wow, a hyped up rubber match. This is good. We're going to finally get to see a resolution to this angle. But anyway, it ends up that MVP is going to wrestle Drew McIntyre. And that match starts immediately. Drew was really overly aggressive in this match. Seemed to like really be furious about something, which I couldn't really figure out what that was. Because of this, he ends up missing a lot of moves, and actually the match ends when he goes for MVP, hits the turnbuckle. MVP dodges, does a big giant, like a flying punt. It wasn't his normal punt, but like he does a flying side punt to the side of his head and gets a 3 count. And actually the announcers even mentioned, oh, this is a new move for MVP's Wepatrol. I'm like, maybe it was just a botch, but I don't know. I hope that you know they knew what they were talking about.
It's a move that hurts himself at the same time.
Yeah. So now you cut to the backstage promo, which will continue for the rest of the night. I'm only going to talk about it now because it's cut so many times it's stupid to keep talking about it. But Edge, in his angle from last week where he kidnapped Paul Bearer to piss off or throw off Kane for the title match, basically has him tied to a wheelchair, taped up, announces that he's not at the arena but they're somewhere else, and does so many weird freaking things to him during the course of the night. First, he's racing him up and down the hallway like he's going to run him into a wall. Then he takes a soccer ball and says, let's play dodgeball, and proceeds to pelt it like directly off of Paul Bearer's face. Just like, boom, boom.
Undertaker.
So yeah, well he's all taped up, so he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He can't move, but he's like all knocked out.
Poor Bearer, man.
Yeah, it was really odd. Oh, then it was really funny because
take a rubber glove and do one of those things.
No, he doesn't do that. It was funny because one of the times when they actually cut, you could tell what happened was that Edge went too far and he snapped the fucking wheel on the wheelchair. So he's like trying to hold it up there when he's talking to Paul Bearer. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. It was pretty funny. And he's like, oh, it's like,
I'm going to hurt this guy.
Yeah, it's like wheeling off camera. That was pretty funny. But then he ends up ordering Pizza Hut food.
Yeah.
And it was hot wings, pizza, and breadsticks. He dumps it all on Paul Bearer's head. So it's like, what the hell is going on?
I think Paul Bearer's like a cancer survivor, too.
I think he is. I think he is.
First they kill him in cement.
We salute you, Paul Bearer. Have some Pizza Hut on us. And,
God damn.
Very odd. So, but anyway, the angle ends where near the end of the show, Edge says, I'm going to take Paul Bearer to the arena and we're going to go visit Kane. So we'll talk about that later when that actually happens. Okay. During the whole night, Kane was actually interrogating everyone on the show. Do you know where Paul Bearer is? Do you know where Paul Bearer is?
Do you know what happened to my brother? He's in a vegetative state.
Yeah, do you know what happened to him after buried him alive?
Well, this is kind of like what he did back in the summer when he
was doing the same thing with the other. Now he's doing it for Paul Bearer. Right. The next match was Chris Masters against Jack Swagger. They make a mention that there's going to be several promotional Survivor Series matches of people from the opposite teams wrestling each other tonight. The really odd thing is that all of a sudden they seem to have dropped that Swagger soaring eagle angle. For 2 weeks in a row. He hasn't been around, and the question is, what happened to him? Like they were pushing it like that was going to be his thing, the new gimmick, and all of a sudden he's gone. So maybe someone said this is a really stupid idea, which we said since the beginning, but I don't know. Anyway, pretty short match. And Swagger wins it with the ankle lock. Chris Masters did at one point get the master lock on Swagger, but Swagger, I guess he's supposed to be smart, pulled himself up like this and got his legs over the ropes, forcing a break. Which makes no sense because if you really had it in the master lock, there's no way he'd be able to lift his body up like that.
The master lock isn't what it used to be. Remember the master lock challenge?
Right, and no one could break it. 2 years, no one broke it.
It's almost like they don't want to make a SmackDown matches for the pay-per-view, so they're like, "I'll just put them all together."
Pretty much.
Like
pretty much.
Like just stick them all in one match.
That's what it seems like. So anyway, Swagger wins with the ankle lock. Up next is Caval versus Dolph Ziggler, and it's an upset because actually the match goes back and forth, and it's a quick, but then all of a sudden there's a series of pins, and it's like misfall, 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 and then all of a sudden Caval rolls this weird rolling pin, and he actually gets the pin on Dolph Ziggler. And everyone goes, holy shit, Caval actually won a match since he won NXT, and as if to basically waste all of that, Caval says, well, I have a title match because I won NXT 2. And everyone's like, wait a minute, we don't even remember that being a stipulation of NXT 2.
Yeah.
But I guess now it was.
Oh, yeah?
And now he says, well, I'm going to use it, my shot at Survivor Series, I want to wrestle you, Dolph Ziggler, for the Intercontinental title. And it's like, okay.
So if the women win the NXT, then they get
they get a shot at the title, at the women's title, apparently.
Randy Orton, I want you.
Yes, Randy Orton. You mean a no false count anywhere match or something like that.
That's cool.
They should try into a bra and panties match. That'd be
maybe
crazy.
he'll win. I don't think so. But.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I mean. Like he gets one victory. It's not even that impressive because it's a random like roll up pin.
Right.
And now all of a sudden he's using his title match. I'm like, are they throwing this out or are they gonna make him win? If he wins, would he even look strong at this point because he hasn't won a match?
Yeah,
really,
I mean,
you know.
Had they made him look better, like the average person watching might want to actually pay money to see the match.
But he looks like shit right now.
That Caval guy's way good. I want to see this match. He's unbeatable. Here's my money.
The next match was Kofi Kingston against Cody Rhodes. Early in the match, Kofi slaps Cody in the face, and Cody gets all up in arms. Oh, you touched the face! Oh, I couldn't believe it. Got all pissed about it. It was a good match with a lot of back and forth. Again, another match with a lot of near falls. These guys are pretty evenly matched in the ring, skill-wise, I'd say. Actually, Cody gets the Crossroads for the win and picks up the win for his team. Up next was Lay Cool in a tag match against Kelly Kelly and Natalya. This match made no fucking sense. The reason I say this,
It's a Divas match.
the match starts with Natalya
Okay.
wrestling Lay Cool. 1, 2, 3. No tag. No actual wrestling took place.
Just a
It was
roll-up?
like someone, so like a kick, 1, 2, 3. And I was like,
They've been doing that, the last couple of weeks they've been doing this with the women's matches. They're like 10 seconds.
it doesn't make sense.
15 seconds.
Especially Natalya, you would think that even if she's going to lose, make her look strong for the pay-per-view. It was literally like the match was 3 seconds. Like, okay, we're going to go, a couple hits here and there. Oh, someone kicked him, 1, 2, 3. And like, no tag, no anything. What the? And even Kelly went. She's like standing in the corner like.
I don't know, man. I hope Natalya wins the title and they start giving her some good competition.
After that, I honestly have no freaking idea what they're doing with Natalya. I don't
They
know
don't
what
even
happened.
care.
Maybe she got injured and this was the way to say,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They just have the matches are so good, no time. They're just fuck it.
They're retarded.
Write it off, man.
So up next was Big Show versus Tyler Rex. Now, if you remember, Tyler Rex was the guy when he got on the bragging rights team on the last pay-per-view. We said, "Who the hell is Tyler Rex?" Because he'd never been on SmackDown before. He'd only been on TV once for Superstars, and all of a sudden they put him on the SmackDown team. Now, since then he was in one other match where he squashed somebody, and he hasn't been on TV again. So this is really the first time he's been on TV in a major match. He goes up against the Big Show, and of course it's a horrendous squash. Tyler Rex gets like 1 or 2 hits which make him look good. He actually does clothesline the Big Show down.
Yeah.
But then as soon as the Big Show gets up, he dominates the match and wins easily. So it's like,
So what's the point of this guy?
I don't know. He's supposed to be a monster, yet Big Show squashes him like in 3 seconds. Okay. Now, finally, it's the end of the whole angle with Kane and Paul Bearer, because Ed shows up, and he has it's not a limo, but it's like a fancy car, opens the door, lets Paul Bearer out, and the funny thing is, Paul Bearer is still covered with a pile of chicken wings on his stomach, as if he just put him in the car with a pile of chicken wings on his stomach. So you know they didn't drive anywhere, you know they've been there all night. But as he gets out, as soon as he rolls them out, they fall all over the floor, so it's pretty funny. And,
oh, man.
so Kane run. Obviously Paul Bearer's saying, "Kane, help me, help me." Kane shows up. Edge is nowhere to be found. Edge sneaks up behind him, spears him, puts Paul Bearer back in the car, and drives away again. And that's the end of the angle for the night. So actually, the most notable part of this was that at one point Kane was crying They actually show Kane so furious that he couldn't save Paul Bearer. He was like destroying
His
everything.
father.
He's destroying everything around him, and he just like starts going, ooh, and sits down and starts crying. It's the first time we've seen Kane cry on TV. So, for me, I don't understand what was going on here. I don't know if they were trying to show that Edge could be a diabolical face in order to beat a heel, or if they were trying to turn the tides here and say, look, Edge is the heel and Kane is more of the face because he really cares about his father.
They just thought it was funny that they tortured Paul Bearer.
I didn't get it at all. It was a really
just thought
weird
it'd be an entertaining
angle
thing to
all
do.
night.
I don't think they thought about it.
So the main event starts out. It's Alberto Del Rio against Mysterio in this rubber match. 10 seconds into the match, the heel SmackDown team shows up and interferes, so it's a DQ, which makes no sense. So then Teddy Long says, no, screw that, that's not how we're going out. We're going to have a Survivor Series preview battle royal, which is going to be, the two teams against each other.
Right.
Interesting, goes back and forth a little bit, and I believe it ended up with Big Show and Ray being the last two in, so Ray's team wins. Nothing major. I thought they did a much better job building up bragging rights than they did with this match. I don't understand why, because if you think about it, on the card, it's going to take up the same amount of time. It's 5-on-5. It's like, why, for bragging rights, it was such a big thing, but for the pay-per-view that's always been this kind of elimination-style Survivor Series match, it's not a big thing. It's like some second thought.
They didn't know what they wanted to do. They first said that, they weren't having Survivor Series at all. They were actually going to replace the entire pay-per-view with a different name. Then it wasn't going to have any traditional matches. Now it is having a traditional match, and they kind of decided at the last second. They threw it in there, so.
Very odd.
It's a little bit of a mess.
Alright, so now we're going to go through TNA Impact for this week, which was on November 18th. Flair opens the show, comes out, and says, hey, Matt Morgan. So, yeah, you may have won a title match last week, because Bischoff kind of misspoke when he was on the mic or whatever, being an announcer. But, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be your ref for that title match. So immediately it's like, what the fuck is this? Already a shitty swerve to open the show. So he calls out Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan comes out, and Flair keeps saying during this interview, keep your eyes on God. And I don't know about you. Now, I'm not a religious person by any means. But if I were, I'd be really freaking offended if a wrestler kept saying, keep your eyes on God. And anyone but Ric Flair, you might think that he's joking, but Ric Flair might actually think that he's God. And he keeps saying this, and it's like, what is going on? How could they even allow him to say this?
Yeah, six ex-wives don't think he's God.
Obviously. So, anyway, Flair says, you can reverse this decision of me being the special guest ref if you beat me tonight in a special match. And then the funny-ass comment from Matt Morgan, he goes, well, yeah, that was on my bucket list to beat you anyway, so I might as well do it. And Flair gets up here to bucket list. How dare you? I'm a wrestling god, and I'm going to beat you, and blah, 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 blah. And he goes nuts. He actually turns into, like, the insane Flair from back in the day. He starts throwing his jacket out, kicking the ropes, and going all over the place. So it was kind of interesting.
It's funny, I guess. I don't know.
So then they cut to a backstage where Jen Mee is coming out. I guess they're going to have a match, and Tara starts flirting with them, which is weird. Like, she's a cougar now because she wears a cougar shirt.
This is like Vince Russo writing.
This is obviously
this is serious.
This is good.
This is adult.
This is very good.
We have a cougar angle. He's gonna have three-way sex with these guys.
With Jen Mee. Sorry.
That's where I see it going.
They're so funny looking too. They look like fucking 12-year-olds.
They're like 20, 21. So
hilarious.
These guys have a lot of miles to go. You're gonna be good.
So they come back from commercial, and already there's another stipulation to the match tonight. The stipulation is if Matt Morgan wins against Ric Flair, he gets to name his referee for the title match coming next pay-per-view.
What the fuck,
If he loses, then he loses his #1 contender shot. It's like, where do all these fucking stipulations
It's like the
come
freaking
from?
WWE main event.
Yes.
The ref.
Why can't we have a match, a solid match with two people wrestling and a 3 count? What is wrong with these bullshit stipulations?
You name the ref gets to name the outfit he wears.
Yeah. You have to wear high heels for the next one.
You can pick the car that he drives to the arena with, and catering, you have to pick the catering menu if you win the...
Really stupid. Really stupid.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next match is the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal with Velvet Sky against Generation Me and The Shore. So you can imagine how that match went. What a clusterfuck. It was pretty good. I mean, everyone hits their spots. The Machine Guns do their double teams. Gen Me does their double teams.
Yeah, they're cool. Velvet did a nice Hurricane Rana.
Yes, a
Spinning.
long one. It was very long.
They tried to make it good, but
I didn't know Chris Sabin was going out with Velvet Sky because that was funny when she was coming in the ring. He sits down right next to her, like staring directly at her ass, and she was okay with it. And then the announcer says, "Oh yeah, they've been going out for like 6 months now."
they just fucking announced it like that. So.
Yeah, so it's like okay, and I'm assuming that's correct.
The problem with this was there's too much going on, man.
Too many people in the match.
They do this all the time in TNA. They combine the tag feud with the Jersey Shore Jay Lethal feud into like fuck it, throw it all in one match. So whatever.
Generation Me wins the match by spraying Chris Sabin in the face.
Yeah.
With cookie spray,
which is with what? So strange.
Which is the other angle from the other match. Anyway, forget it.
So then
the heels went. Let's just put it that way.
Then they announced that on Reaction, Jin Mi will face the Machine Guns in a
no holds brawl. I did. So
I didn't see it. Okay, you can talk about it.
A no holds brawl fight, no ref, no match. It's just they're gonna beat the shit out of each other in the
After
arena.
2 hours, I had enough. I was like,
yeah, I know. All right, so next was a promo where Double J is saying, "Oh, I'm an MMA fighter. I can shoot fight. I'm gonna go out there and do an MMA exhibition tonight," which was pretty weird. Then it does happen. He comes out. He has like these 6 students with him who really don't look like MMA fighters at all. They look like all wrestler trained.
probably some indie wrestlers.
And he's doing, here's how you do this arm bar, and here's how you do this, and here's how you do the rear naked choke, which of course is Samoa Joe's submission move. So he's just spitting in the face of Joe. While he's doing this, Samoa Joe comes out, beats the living shit out of all the students. Then they're supposed to have a match, Joe versus Double J, but Double J says, well, you have to beat my 2 students first. Of course Joe does immediately, very fast. And Double J runs out of the arena with his tail between his legs and doesn't wrestle Joe like he said he was supposed to. Really stupid. This will continue on later on in the night, by the way, but we'll talk about it.
Where the fuck is Kurt Angle?
Every week, it's like
so once in a while he's there.
It seems like apparently TNA has some kind of a weird schedule where half the people are there one week and half are there next week.
No Eric Bischoff.
No Bischoff this week, and Hogan was there, but only for one segment, which leads me to believe he really wasn't there. Maybe they filmed that at another time.
Well, he came out twice. He came out with Jeff Hardy at the end.
Yeah.
And he came out. He was in the back. I don't know who
I guarantee you, they probably filmed it at another time and filled it in. Yeah, I guarantee you. Really weird.
Yeah, people aren't there, and then they're there. It's like.
So anyway, the next match, Raven versus Jeff Hardy, and the stipulation is if Raven doesn't win, he's fired. So another EV2 member in jeopardy of being fired. Really quick match. Raven doesn't do much impressive at all.
Yeah, it was fucking Raven versus the new Raven.
Yeah, they look the same.
Jeff Hardy's basically like a younger Raven.
It's like younger, skinny Raven versus fat, bloated Raven, and of course, fat, bloated Raven loses.
It's a shame because like I think they could have at least give him like a good. They could have had a good promo back and forth or something.
If this is his retirement match, let it be a good match. Don't let it be a short.
And also, this is also in the middle of the show, and like one guy's the champion. Should be the main character on the show, and the other guy's like retiring.
So
maybe that could be the main event.
It should be the main event.
That would make sense to me.
But anyway, unfortunately, Raven loses, and then Hogan comes out, insults EV2, says Dixie Carter should never hire those losers anyway. He fires Raven on the spot, and it's hilarious because as he's saying this, I'm thinking in my head, where's RVD? Isn't he part of EV2? He's not there.
What else is it? Was also weird is like Raven's coming up the ramp to attack him. And Steve Richards is like, no,
Steve Richards stops him.
For what reason?
I don't know. Maybe because he's fired, so that if he attacks him, he can get arrested because technically he's not under contract.
Now you're getting to. There's no cops in TNA though. We already established this. Abyss fucking attacks fans.
I guess that's true.
There's no.
Well, those fans are under contract. I don't know.
Blew my mind.
Okay. So then there's a commercial break. When they come back, Tommy Dreamer calls out Rhino, because if you remember what happened last week, Rhino actually speared RVD during his #1 contender match, causing him the #1 contender shit. Basically, Rhino comes out and says, the bottom line is Eric Bischoff renewed my contract. You guys knew it was coming up for expiration.
Doesn't make any sense, though.
Well, if you think about it, he says, you never mentioned it to me. You never talked to me about it. You know I have a family. It's not like you guys even said, hey, are you worried that
what
you're
are they supposed to do? They
job?
can't sign into a contract.
I'm just saying this is what the angle was.
What the fuck are they supposed to do?
And so, Dreamer's like, no, we do care, but, there's, what, exactly like you said. He's like, what were we supposed to do about it? And Rhino basically attacks the Dreamer and says, listen, I need to do this for money. I need to live. Then RVD comes out. So after someone gets retired, now RVD decides to come out to save Dreamer, and then he gets gored too. So really weird angle going on there. Not sure where they're going to go with that. But now RVD came. That's what I mean. Like, I get the feeling that the Raven match might have been filmed at a different time than the Dreamer promo, because why was RVD there for the Dreamer promo but not for when Raven got retired?
This is a taped show. It's quite possible.
So I don't know. Maybe
been the next day. Could have been.
I don't know because I'm not at these live shows, but that is really weird to me that they're kind of mixing these things and people don't show up and then do show up and really up next was Abyss in an open casket match. He invited anyone on the roster to come out and wrestle him, and it ends up being Shannon Moore.
What the fuck?
But actually, they really made Moore look good in this match.
Why did he accept the match with Abyss, the casket match?
Because he wanted to boost himself, basically.
I don't know, man.
He almost beats Abyss multiple times, but Abyss, just kind of squeaks out every here and there. Then, right near the end of the match, when it looked like someone might actually get a pinfall, Abyss opens the casket to put more in it, and the Pope's in there, and he jumps out. This is just like the freaking angles with Kane and Undertaker from a month or two ago,
right.
Where, he surprised.
The Pope there was in there?
Yeah, exactly. So now it's the Pope. He jumps out, he attacks Abyss, and obviously it's a no contest, but now Abyss is like, where did he come from? I can't believe it! He wasn't in there before. Like, he's really mind-fucked.
Oh, it makes you wonder why they're doing a casket stuff. Are they poking fun at the...
I don't know.
Undertaker?
It doesn't seem to fit. So the next match was Angelina Love versus Mickie James for the #1 contendership for the Knockouts title. Now, Angelina Love, during the promo before this match, seemed very cocky and was like, listen, I've been a champion before. Mickie James can't just walk into TNA and expect to be the new champion. She has to prove it.
The other thing with the shows, like, with TNA lately, they don't tell you the matches, like, when they start the show.
Yeah. They just happen over the course of the show.
Yeah,
right?
like, I don't understand why that is.
So this
is kind of... If they announce certain matches, you might be like, oh, I'll stay tuned.
I'll stay to watch it, but now it's like you don't know what's happening. So
you don't know. They almost like want you not to know. It's like
maybe they don't, so that maybe you sit there and think something's good coming and nothing good ever comes. Maybe that's what it is. But so there is a match. It's Mickie and Angelina. Angelina actually loses her head during the match and starts getting vicious. Like she goes to shake her hand. No, she hits her in the face instead. So now Mickie is really being pushed as the strong face in the Knockouts division. Mickie ends up winning the match, and then guess who shows up after the match? Katie Lee, who apparently is in Angelina Love's head, but now she's like, oh, I'm going to be here for good, just accept me, and everyone's like, how are they going to use this angle if she's a figment of her imagination?
What happened to Tara versus Mickie James? What
completely dropped this week.
Where the fuck is...
now Tara, all she cares about is that young dick, and all Mickie cares about is the title.
Where the hell's Madison Rayne's not even around?
Madison Rayne is MIA. So just to finish up two more quick things, because I know we're running out of time. Bubba Ray comes out to explain why he attacked Devon last week when they were supposed to retire Team 3D permanently. And he basically says the reason is because Devon's old, he can't properly do the 3D anymore. In fact, I carried him our whole career anyway. I was the star. He was the guy who just got my tables. And that was the end of the promo. Interesting promo, but I could have sworn I already did this. Like, I remember this.
It's like, oh, well, yeah.
Doesn't it sound familiar? I swear to God they've done this in WWE.
It was the promo was excellent. Devon's doing excellent promos back on Reaction as well. He also went through a list of guys that they beat, which was cool.
Right.
But I don't know if the match will be that great or anyone cares about it.
So the main event, Flair versus Morgan. There's a ref bump, of course, as you would expect in any of these weird-ass Ric Flair, matches. Morgan somehow gets cut on his back and starts bleeding during the match, which then prompts Flair to blade as usual.
Fucking stupid, man. You don't always have to do it every time.
But now he does it every time.
It's like, it actually went so long in the match, I was like, wow, he's not doing it.
Right.
That's good.
And then he does it.
Then all of a sudden he's gushing. It's like...
Fortune comes out, attacks Matt Morgan while the ref is still out. But surprisingly, Doug Williams turns during the match, goes face, and starts attacking Fortune, which then allows Matt Morgan to go ahead and actually get the pin and win. And now he not only is the #1 contender, but he gets to pick his special guest referee for the pay-per-view match against Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
So that's the end of Impact. The one thing I do want to talk about, Reaction. There is this show after Impact called Reaction. It's on for an hour. That is supposed to be like an interview promo show, but this week there was a special thing where it was supposed to be Motor City Machine Guns against Jen Me in a no-holds-barred, it's not even a match, it's like an unsanctioned fight. It went on for about 15 minutes, and it was in the arena. It was no cameraman, lights. It was dark, like fucking ridiculously dark. No fans. And it was a pretty good fight. There wasn't like blood or anything like that, but there were some really interesting spots. They were hitting each other hard.
Yeah, sure was good.
Smashed each other in with chairs, smashed each other into the stairs, some brutal stuff. At one point, Jen Me's like, we gotta kill him, man. We're gonna kill him right now. Snap his neck. Triple him. I was like, yeah, okay, they're really gonna do that. But no, it went back. It was really good, but it was really brutal too. Like they were really trying to push this. Like these guys hate each other.
Wow, I should have seen it.
It ended up ending with the machine guns take out Jen Me, but it was really back and forth. At one point, it looked like Jen Me was gonna like walk away the victor or seriously hurt one of them.
Yeah.
But then they kind of reversed at the last minute and got the
Yeah, Vince Russo loves
back.
that empty arena stuff. They did the Rock Foley back in the day.
Weird.
He's like, I love this empty arena match.
So weird.
So I don't know. Also, like if you're trying to push Matt Morgan as like this big babyface monster, like I don't know if that Ric Flair is like the right match for him, where he's like this old dude's like beating him down.
Give him AJ Styles.
Just like throw him in there with like 2 or 3 members of Fortune. And have him just
You do that too.
You gotta really make him like he's a big dude. Really sell him as like a giant, like a monster.
All right.
That's what you gotta do. Not like getting punched in the balls by Flair. He's like, oh, So I don't know if that was the right match for him, and I don't know if people really get into him as a babyface and really want to pay money to see him main event pay-per-views.
All right. Well, we're short on time, so Survivor Series. We'll be talking about that next week. Raw, SmackDown, and Impact, and that is it for this edition of Smart Guys. Hope
Thanks,
you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.